Good morning. It is 4:22 in the morning. I've been up since about 3 o'clock, trying to get my head to calm down. It's a weird headache. It's not a headache per se. It feels stuffed, and the pain is right here. So I waited for about an hour to see if it would calm down, and eventually I went ahead and took an ibuprofen, so one tablet. Not sure exactly what's going on, and usually I'd try and avoid taking some meds, but I felt just go ahead and take some meds this time around because it has been something that's constant, and it hasn't kind of gone away. So this is when you know your limits as far as whether or not you should or should not be taking anything. So I kind of know my body. If something is not relieving itself and it's constantly reappearing, then it's time to put in the medical part of things. So hopefully that the ibuprofen will help, but try and get another 2 hours of sleep before my day starts. Stay healthy.
The recipes, views, and opinions expressed in this channel are solely those of the speaker. They do not reflect, collaborate, or substitute the views and opinions of a medical health professional. Please consult a professional with any dietary concerns and inquiries prior to trying the recipes. Welcome to the channel.
Good morning, guys. It's about 6 a.m. in the morning right now. I'm just waking up, and I didn't sleep very well. I woke up with an ache, my left arm where I had the COVID shot. The ache has kind of extended to my forearm, so it's a very poignant ache. I don't know what to do with it right now, so I'm trying not to touch it. But the other thing I have right now is a headache, and it's not like a complete whole head pain. It's a specific pain, and it's right here. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I know I had started to develop that recently. It wasn't part of the symptoms that I was having. It was strictly mostly the dizziness. But I've had like a head cold this whole entire time, to where if I like bend my head, like if I bend over, it feels like my whole brain just shifted, if that makes sense. The other thing about the sleep is my dreams. My dreams are very vivid and very intense, to the point where I can't tell the difference between reality and a dream. That's how clear they look, like I really was there. So sometimes things get merged, and it's not like the out of body, out of space kind of dreaming that one has. It's real life stuff. So this is me interacting with people in real life, which is a shift from the usual dreaming that I do. So sometimes when things happen, I'm like, why does that feel like deja vu? But it's definitely one of the side effects. Still having the slight fever, so that's been a constant thing. It hasn't changed. Yeah, so this morning it's the aching that is taking a toll. So I'm going to kind of take it a bit easy this morning, and kind of relax in later than usual, to just try and make sure that everything is good and set for me to be able to start my work day. All right, so I feel much better. The headache I had has dissipated, so it's no longer there. My voice is a bit raspy this morning, but that's normal. I believe it's because I ate some of the ginger snaps yesterday. So sugar, not a very good friend, especially if you're ill. But it was a decision I made. So I'm about to start my day, and usually I started off with taking a 2-mile fast walk. Weighted fast walk is pretty much kind of what I do. So I'm walking up a hill at the moment. It's a bit of a struggle, but we're still getting in there. My breathing is okay. It's normal breathing pace here. But so far so good. It looks like the body is doing what it needs to do and getting back to the place it needs to be. But hopefully we will keep things moving and get the body performing the way it's supposed to. But we're on the 1 mile mark, so we'll see how things are by the time I get to my 2 mile mark. So some of you may be asking why I didn't have a mask during the first portion of the video, and I do have a mask. The route that I usually take doesn't have a lot of human traffic, mostly car traffic, so the air is pretty much cleared out of human activity. But if I get to where there's human activity, I will put on my mask. It's a precautionary measure for me, especially right now because my body is in this fight state and I don't want to expose it to anything crazier than what it's going through right now. Alright, so one other thing that I monitor for is mucus discharge from my nose. I'm not talking about water running. I'm looking for real mucus and seeing if that's coming out. Mucus, especially when your body is ill, is an indicator of 1, what you're eating, and 2, the infection that you might be going through at the moment. So right now I have it, so I know I had the ginger snaps. There's a reason I was warning you guys. So I know that sugar content in the cookie and all that could be the reason for why my nose is in a sorry about that, in a runny state, in a mucus state. Also the fact that I am combating this illness. Typically if I'm walking, I wouldn't have any of that, and if I do have a nose, it's water running off my nose. It's not mucus. So that's another thing I look out for to see how my body is doing. So 2 miles completed. I feel fantastic, actually. Not feeling as sluggish or as tired as I usually am, or struggling to breathe like I was probably a week or 2 ago. Yeah, it's actually helpful for me to be doing this morning workout so that my body can get revved and started in the morning. So if you're not having any morning regimen or any kind of exercise during the recovery period, I highly recommend it. It will get you back in shape and in time for recovery. Mask is back on. I'm back in the residential areas, so I need to make sure that I am staying covered at this moment. So yeah, hopefully this video helps anybody out there who is trying to get back from the COVID side effects and hopefully work through anything that's happening. I didn't have any crazy things. The one thing that I remembered while I was walking is during my second week of recovery was I started having joint pains, and that was really strange to me because typically I don't.
but I kind of powered through them and they disappeared. So I actually remember that when I was walking today, I was like, wait, I don't feel my knee pains or the hip joint pains. It was like really strange areas. It's not like mass muscle ache. It's pretty much kind of like a targeted area. So it could be the vaccine. It could be just my body. Overall, I cannot tell, but I did notice that there was some strange sharp pains that were popping up. So just be aware of that. Otherwise, it's time to get the day started. All right, so I'm about to get my day started, and I wanted to show you guys a sample or an example of what I eat first thing in the morning. So first thing I do is I have a tall glass of ginger and lime juice. So ginger powder and half a lime squeezed in, and with warm water. So I will drink that first and make sure that that settles in my body. Let it sit for about half an hour to an hour before I actually start to eat anything. Along with that, I also take my supplements first thing in the morning. So I do take iron. I also take vitamin C. I do also take vitamin D and vitamin B12. So the reason I take this is because I did move to a largely vegetarian diet, and as a result, my body, which had been so accustomed to eating a lot of meat proteins, was not processing my vegetarian type meals very well. So these are doctor recommended. It's not something that I just went ahead and decided I was going to do. Lab tests have been done, and as a result of those lab tests, we pinpointed some areas where my diet was lacking. Now, a lot of people will say, okay, you need to eat spinach and kale. I eat a lot of that. So for some reason, my body is just not processing it very well. I am taking it, and a lot of this I keep taking, even though my doc is like, your levels are okay. I keep taking it because right now, with the effects of the vaccine and the fact that I am having all these kinds of symptoms, I do want my blood to be running properly. So iron is very key to that, to be able to cycle through, produce whatever it needs to do in terms of strengthening the blood and the blood levels and its efficiency, and also making sure that vitamin D is in. So in the area that I live in Washington State, the sun is constantly missing because it's raining a lot, so I don't spend a lot of time outside. So there is a reason why that is being taken. Other than that, those are the supplements I take. So let me show you what I have for breakfast. Majority of what I eat first thing in the morning is fruit. And if I can show this very well, hopefully this works for you guys. All right, so I have a mango, a whole mango. I have an apricot, I have a plum, and then I usually keep my squeezed lime because I will put it into the glass and pour water into it and kind of sip it all through the day. But this is typically what my breakfast looks like. I don't have the typical American breakfast, so to speak, so your oatmeals, your cereals, your bars, that kind of thing. No, I go very naturally. And this is pretty much what I eat. And it helps a lot with not only cleansing the pipes in the system. If you know anything about fruit, it's a cleansing agent, and it also have a lot of good nutrients in it that your body can use. Some people say limit the sugars. I honestly eat as much as I can between the hours of 8 and 12. I'll eat as much fruit as I can. So if I'm hungry, I'll just eat it. And I look at it as a cleansing agent and also a nutritional replenishment thing. There's a lot of people who will have a different doctrine about how you should be eating in the morning. This is the way I eat it. So please make sure, once again, you're talking to your provider to see if any kinds of changes as far as your diet is concerned are helpful. Now, the one thing I'm going to point out is because of the area that I do live and the fact that some of the fruits that we get are very limited, I have to supplement and take these kinds of supplements, right? I will be honest, if you live in an area where there is variety of fruit, I would not recommend taking supplements. I would recommend most likely eating certain types of fruits like your soursop. And I think I'll do a video on that part because there are some fruits that have very, very good nutrients that can be very, very good substitute for things like these kinds of supplements. So if you are blessed to be in an area where there is fruit and vegetables that are in variety, I would highly, highly recommend that you stick to eating those rather than just running to the store and actually buying the supplements. The other thing I'm going to say about these supplements, I go to Whole Foods to get mine. Whole Foods, if anybody knows anything about Whole Foods, it's expensive. So these are not cheap. And I don't mind putting money in anything that will be put into my body, but they're not cheap. And I make sure that they're organic. And I make sure they're AXO certified. So if you have your Think Dirty app, I believe it is, you can do searches on your supplements and it can tell you whether or not it's good or bad. I think there's also a different app, and I can't think of it, but I will make sure I put it in the description below, where you can check the quality of the supplements that you are taking, and it will flag things if things are off. And so I use it a lot, especially in the store if I'm buying something new that I am not accustomed to. So it's everything from the soaps I take, the soaps I use to wash my body with, all the way down to the type of makeup that I put on my face. So I am always constantly aware of what's going on my body and into my body. So be willing to spend a little bit of money for your supplements. The other thing I have to kind of point out that I have learned, if it comes in a glass, it's likely that it is authentic. If it comes in a glass jar, it is likely that it is authentic. This one is plastic, and unfortunately it comes in a plastic container, but I validated it, so I am cool with that. So there's certain things that I am cool with, but high indicator of whether or not something is quality is whether or not it is coming in a glass container. Partly because if you know any studies about the plastics, you understand that some of the elements that they use to actually form plastic actually do have some side effects that seep into whatever is in the container. So if I'm buying something that's plastic, I will buy like a 30-day capsule. So I'm not going to stick with 90, 120 days. I need something that I'm going to take quick, fast, in a hurry, that's not sitting in this too long. I also check expiration dates, so to see whether or not they've been sitting on the shelf way too long as well. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, let me get to my breakfast, and we'll see you guys at lunch. All right, so it's lunchtime for me. I am about to chow down on some lunch. It's a late lunch. I was busy with work, so I am getting to this late, which is usually not a good idea. You need to eat on time. So this is going to be a red kidney bean stew that I had cooked over the weekend, and I'm going to be having that with my baked bread. I bake all my breads, so this is my whole wheat baked bread that is infused with zucchini in it and some garlic, as well as some other spices. So this is pretty much my lunch with some of lime and water here. So that's all I'm going to be having for lunch. I wanted to kind of talk about some of the ingredients that I actually do use when it comes to the cooking, especially this cooking here. So I have a couple of spices that I have put into my stew. There is habanero powder in it, garlic powder, mango powder. Can't say that name, so I'm not even going to try it because I'm going to butcher it. It's an Indian spice that I put in there, and it's very good when it comes to cooking beans. It helps a whole lot. Hinge, it's also another Indian spice. It does help with flatulence in it. Of course, I've added turmeric, which I have what I consider my three kings. They are the kings of spices in my book, based on the number of nutrients, based on the number of the health benefits that they come into. So my three kings are typically turmeric, cumin, and ginger. These three tend to hit ginger. These three tend to hit my meals most of the time. And once again, it's just because of the nutrient components they have, and especially right now when I am not feeling my greatest, it would be best that I make sure that I am actually getting all the support I need, basically. I don't know why I was thinking this the other day. I thought to myself that I needed to have my vibranium put together. So in essence, my spices tend to be that vibranium that helps the support going. So I tend to put them in most of my food, and it actually does keep my body in a good balance. So this is lunch, and we'll see you for dinner. Okay guys, so we have come to the end of the day. It's been a long day at work, but this is my dinner for today. I have a very simple meal right now because I still feel a bit of my lunch still processing in my stomach, so I'm gonna go with something light. This is just spinach in here, baby spinach and baby kale. I put that in some chicken broth to help with replenishing the electrolytes due to the fever changes or the temperature changes in my body. And then I have some beets in here. So these are yellow beets that I have baked. I basically put in some olive oil and a bit of salt in it. As far as the spices, because I make my own chicken broth, I usually use nut chicken broth because I know what's in it, but I don't have that handy, so I am using Better Than Bouillon as the base for my chicken broth. I've added a bit of habanero so that we can clear out that lung and all that mucus stuff that's lingering. I have added garlic powder to it, as well as some onion powder. So something very simple, very light is what I went for. And of course I have my trusty glass of lime water here that I've been sipping all day, so pushing as much fluids as I can. As far as how I feel in terms of my body at the moment, I'm okay, to be very honest. It looks like it has pretty much, I'm at the tail end, so that heavy head cold feeling is not there. That headache has kind of cleared out. I still have the raspiness in my voice, and hopefully that will clear out as I get to the tail end of things. But overall, I would say it's okay. My arm pain, it's still there. It's actually kind of shifted to my biceps at the moment. So if you can see this redness, so it's kind of moved this way. I'm not exactly sure why that's happening, but I will monitor it to see what's going on with it and why it is it looks like it's trying to encapsulate my bicep arm, but we'll keep monitoring it. However, overall, I'm feeling good. So pointers is just push fluids as much as possible, try and keep a routine, put in some exercise, drink a lot of fluids. When I say fluids, try stuff with some electrolytes in it. I would highly recommend coconut water. I'm not a big fan of like Gatorade, but I'm a natural kind of person. But if you want to have some Gatorade, please go for it. It does help. Otherwise, my options typically would be the lime water or lemon water, and then soups is pretty much kind of what I push. And that is the end of the video, guys. I really do appreciate you guys sticking to the very end of the video. The goal of these videos is to be as informative and as transparent as possible. Please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. If you are interested in any of the recipes that I have going on, please do check out my website. Also follow me on my social media because I do post most of my day-to-day meals there as well. I'm hoping once again this is going to be informational for you guys, and your body is your temple. So how you take care of it is how it will manifest and actually produce for you. So keep strong, keep healthy, and as always, stay blessed. We will see you on the next video.